Esther.
What are you doing?
I'm listening.
Listening to what?
I'm listening to the heavens.
You're listening to the heavens.
Yep. The heavens are going to tell me all about God.
Really?
Well, I hope so. The heavens told someone in the Bible about God. So I figure maybe the heavens will tell me also.
What's someone in the Bible?
I don't actually know. The Bible doesn't tell us the person's name, but it was someone who's in part of the Bible that's not named after part of our hands.
Oh, you mean the book of Psalms?
Yes, the book of Psalms, not to be confused with palms, which is part of our hands. That's a little Bible humor.
Oh, Emmett, which psalm have you been reading?
I've been reading Psalm 19. It begins by saying, "The heavens are telling the glory of God."
Yes, and then it says, "The firmament proclaims God's handiwork."
Yep, that's what it says. The firmament. Actually, that's when I stopped reading, because I didn't know what a firmament was. So I thought I'd just listen to the heavens for a while.
Well, Psalm 19 is a neat psalm because it's talking about everything God created.
So God created that firmament thing?
Yes, but remember, the writer was being poetic to talk about God.
Sure. What do you mean?
Well, I mean that we sometimes use words to suggest something rather than to describe something. For example, if I say that you're as sharp as a tack, I mean that you're smart. I don't mean that you have a point on the top of your head.
Although, if I did have a point on the top of my head, no one would know because of my really neat hair. What's that got to do with firmament?
Well, imagine that you're standing in a room made of glass and that the walls curve and that there's a glass dome over the top of you.
I can imagine that. Look at all those clouds up there. I'm imagining I'm seeing clouds through the glass dome.
Well, when people were writing about God creating the world, they could see that there were lakes and rivers and the water looked kind of blue in color. And then they looked up at the sky and it looked kind of blue in color. And they thought that meant that maybe there was water up in the sky.
That kind of makes sense to me.
But then they wondered, if there was water up there above us, what kept it there? They thought that maybe there was something like a big, strong glass dome between the water on the earth and the water in the sky. And guess what they called that something? That something that proclaimed God's handiwork.
Proclaim God's handiwork? Wait, that's what this psalm says. Wait, that means that they called that something the firmament.
Right.
Under this neat hair, there's a sharp tack, you know.
I know. I also know that the writer of the psalm said that the firmament that tells of God's glory doesn't say any words, doesn't have a voice that can be heard.
You mean I won't hear anything when I'm listening to the heavens?
No, you won't, but yes, you will.
Phew, glad we cleared that up. No, we didn't. How can I both hear something and not hear something?
Well, if you listen, you might hear a bee buzzing or a bird singing or hear the wind moving through the grass.
I've heard all those things.
You've heard sounds of God's creation. Without hearing words, we are reminded that God created everything.
Those things proclaim God's glory without saying any words. Hey, sometimes I see flowers and I think, those are beautiful flowers. And then I think, God must have a beautiful heart.
because the flowers proclaim God's glory.
We just have to listen to the flowers and the heavens and the sky. We can hear God even though we don't actually hear God. You know what? I think whoever wrote this psalm was also as sharp as a tack.
Well, that makes two of you.
I'll say amen to that.